Hey people, ooh, let me tell you something. Today we're doing story time. Look at my hair. We're doing a little story time today, which is something I generally don't do. But if you've had a near-death experience, you probably should share your story to the world because you don't know who you're going to help, you know? This is my little service to the world by sharing this story where I was fighting for my life in Kenya, guys. Like I was swinging for my life in Kenya. This Coco you're seeing today is a miracle, okay? She could have been gone. It could have been RIP Coco. You wish you subscribed, but you didn't. So here's your chance. You got a second chance to subscribe to my channel. So whenever I do go meet my Lord and Savior, you're not regretting it. You know what I mean? Am I guilt tripping you to subscribe to my channel? Absolutely. I just came back from Kenya in, I was in Kenya for 2 weeks in April. Amazing. I just have to also say that my experience in Kenya was actually quite fantastic. But there were odd things, you know, when the devil's trying to play games with you. Okay, the coffee is kicking in. The overall experience in Kenya was quite fantastic. I had a blast, but the second day is when like this happened. So let's get into it. So basically, on the third day when I got to Kenya, I was staying with my friend. She lives over there, and she had 2 other friends visiting as well. So it was like 4 of us staying in this apartment, just beautiful apartment. It was lovely. So I was like, you know what? The girls are like Zimbabwean. So I was like, let me feed you guys jollof today. I'm gonna cook dinner for us, and we're just gonna have a good time. So I said, and also I needed to step out and get some air. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go down the road and do some grocery shopping, you know, as you do, and just buy a few things that I need to cook. The girls were being really lazy, and some of them didn't want to come with me. They're like, just go alone. It's like 15 minutes walk. Like, just get some air. It's fine. I was like, a part of me was like, no, maybe not, because also it's like my 3rd day in Kenya. Like, yes, it looks safe. I don't feel like, oh, it's not a safe country, but I'm also like, maybe I shouldn't be strolling down the street in Kenya when I don't know. Like, so a part of me just didn't feel comfortable with that. So I convinced one of the girls to come with me. Thank God. I convinced her to come with me, and so we both decided to go and do some grocery shopping. Bear in mind, it was like probably less than 15 minutes, or like 12 minutes. The sun was out. This was around 4 o'clock. The sun was shining. I went in, put some sunscreen on. Sunscreen, pay attention to that. That's an important part of the story. Put on some sunscreen, put on my sunglasses. Let's go. I was like, okay, it was nice. So we walked. Got there, bought some few things. I'm not gonna drag this on. We bought some few things, and on our way out, it started raining. So on our way out, before like it started raining, like it was pitch black outside. Bearing in mind, 20 minutes ago, the sun was out that I even went to put sunscreen and took sunglasses because the sun was that bright. And now it's pitch black outside in the space of 20 minutes. So I was like, okay, I guess. And then it started raining a little bit, and the Niger girl in me is like, you know what? I actually really like African rain, and I haven't been to Nigeria in a while. Like, just like that heavy, but not like super aggressive, and the smell of rain. I was like, you know what? Let's just walk. Like, just a little bit of rain, like, you know, like we're Africans. Why not? Let's walk in it. I love the smell of it. Let's do it. And then we started walking. I also have to say though that I also went to the grocery not just to go get some food for like to cook. I also went to get a SIM card because I need a SIM card in Kenya, but I couldn't get a SIM card because my phone, because I didn't have my passport, so they couldn't give me a SIM card. And the girl I was with, should I give her a name or not? Because the girl I was with sounds very like I don't know this person, but I actually know her, so it sounds really weird. So I'll give her a name. I'll call her Lucy. So Lucy also then left her phone at home because she was just like, in her head, she was like, I need to charge it anyway. And she didn't have that much credit on it. And she was like, it's just down the road. So she didn't really need to like bring her phone with her. So we both didn't have a working phone. So just to let you know, we couldn't call the Uber. So we thought, let's just, The other option would have been for us to wait in the mall. The rain stopped and then we go. But I was like, the part that I said I just wanted to also just walk in the rain. Why not? Anyways, we started to walk in the rain, and then we realized that this is not just a rain. This is not just rain. Not a rain. This is not just rain. This is a storm. Like, this is a storm, guys. Like, it was so heavy. There was water everywhere, like pools of water everywhere. And we're like, okay, so we're too late to go back. It's too late to go back. We just have to move forward now and just like try to get home as soon as possible. When I tell you that it was a storm, we got caught in the middle of a storm, and I just cannot believe, like the whole thing was so unnecessary. So back to the sunscreen story, where I was telling you that the sunscreen, I put sunscreen on when I was coming out. The sunscreen I used, I don't know what crack is in the sunscreen. I'm going to show you. You know what? Let me go show you this. Let me go show you the sunscreen. So here's the sunscreen. It's the Mega Shade one. Yeah, this one. Can you see it? So it's basically the only one I use because it's like, it's good for acne prone. I'm not going to review it because this thing almost killed me. But I also don't want to like give a bad review because it's really the sunscreen that I use. But just don't use this in water. Don't use this on your face and go swimming because you may die. Don't use this when it's raining because you may die. Anyways, I was wearing this. When I tell you that when the rain, this time I was like soaked. Like, the rain was just insane. When the rain started washing down my face, the sunscreen was also like obviously washing through, like going through my face and got into my eyes. When I tell you that my eyes started to burn, it was so painful, guys. And I don't even know how I can tell the story without seeming like, how I can tell this story that will pass on the message of how traumatized I really was. My eyes was burning so hard that I could not open my eyes. Bearing in mind, I was in a storm, already fighting for my life in a storm. Plus this thing was in my eyes. It was stinging. I could not open my eyes. And we were in the middle of the road. We're on the roadside. There was cars. Now, like, the cars were not moving really fast because there were also like pools of water. So they had to slow down, and people were like running for shelter, and people were just kind of like clearing the road. But there was still a few cars driving and like really slow. So not only was I in the storm, I couldn't open my eyes. So Lucy, is Lucy the name I gave her? If it's not, her name is Lucy now. Lucy basically had to hold my hand through the storm, eyes closed, in the middle of the road with cars behind us in a new country that I've just been in 2-3 days ago. And we had to do this. Also, I was wearing flip-flops. So, you know, I said there's like pools of water on the floor. Like, there was like loads of pools and like just water everywhere. I had to walk in this pools of water, my slippers, my flip-flop broke off, obviously, because there's too much pressure of water. I had to take them off. Don't forget, the eye is still shut. Can't open them, burning. I had to walk barefoot, guys. I had to walk barefoot in water, in this pool of dirty water in the middle of the road, barefoot, soaked, eyes shut because my eyes were burning and they were hurting so much. This time, I was being led like a blind person in a hurricane. I don't understand, but guys, I don't know how I can pass this message on because I'm actually traumatized. I was traumatized. I was so shaken. Guys, I really was fighting. I fought for my life that day because it could have gone south. It could have gone south. And this is why I'm doing this video, because things that we didn't plan to happen really does happen sometimes. Because in my head, I'm going to Kenya, going to go enjoy myself in the sun. There was no part of me that thought, maybe at some point you will be in a storm and you may almost die because you're using a crazy sunscreen and you are going to be in a storm. There was no part of me that planned that. And I just feel like sometimes life throws things at us that we didn't prepare for. The question is, how do we handle these situations? There was obviously going to be a lesson here. I'm not just telling you a story for the vibes. There's obviously going to be a lesson here. How do you handle when life throws you situations that you're not prepared for? Oh! Once you preach, I'm about to preach. Okay, I'm joking, I'm not. When things go left, or like something that we didn't plan happens to us and hurts us or shakes us. It doesn't even have to be an event. It could be somebody said something to us that, how do we move forward from it and don't let those things ruin our days, don't let it ruin our holidays, don't let it ruin our month, don't just let it ruin everything else that is good. And I think I had to sit down and reflect and be like, okay, so this happened, this was traumatic. Let me get a second to cry. Let me get a second to get in my bubble. Let me get a second to like process what happened and kind of like reflect. But then after I got that second, I'm like, okay, I processed, I've talked to my sister, I feel loved, I've cried, I feel better. How do I not let this ruin my holiday? Because this event is an isolated event. It's not what Kenya is about. Kenya is a beautiful country. There's amazing people, amazing food. This is not Kenya. This one event is not Kenya. So how do I get out of this bubble and still enjoy my holiday? And so I did. I thought about it. I was like, you know what? First of all, I paid coins to come here. So I will enjoy this holiday. I also just processed it as also like, this is going to be a good story to tell. Like, how was your trip to Kenya? It was fantastic, but hear me out, I almost died. So you know what? A part of me was like, let's see the good in this. This will be a nice story to tell. So yeah, I think it's also just kind of a message that I want to share. Like, when life throws you something, how do you proceed? I guess it just comes down to just knowing that those events and those things that happen that tries to ruin our mood or try to make us feel bad, or somebody said something to you, it's just an event. It's not about you, it's not about the place you're in, it's not about the whole situation. It's an isolated event, and we have to learn to treat those things as isolated events. It's not who we are. So even like in like the bigger life things, it's like, let's say you start a business and it fails. You didn't plan for it to fail. Life just happens. Things just happen that just didn't go well. Do we now think, oh, I'm a failure because I failed at that business? No, it's like, how do we take those moments in life that life throws at us, because it throws it at everybody? There's just things that happens in our life that we've never prepared for, and we know this that things happen in our lives that we just don't prepare for. How do we take those things and isolate them? In order to be able to do that and see those things as isolated event, there has to be an element of gratitude. There has to be an element of you being able to take a step back and be like, okay, so this bad thing happened, there's 10,000 good things about my life. Okay, so maybe that's why I'm able to isolate the situation. In this context of the storm, I said, okay, it really could have been worse. The sunscreen could have really messed up my eyes that I had to go to the hospital. The people that don't have a home, at least I had a place to run to, and like a nice warm house. There was food. There were people that are like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, when it's the way they were there and showed me some love. Some people don't have that. Some people that are homeless, they have to man the storm. Yes, they may find a little bit of shelter, but wherever they're going to sleep tonight is probably going to be wet. They have to be outside. And me saying, okay, this was a horrible experience, I came to a warm house, so like, it really could be worse. I could have been infected by walking in dirty water, a puddle of water barefoot. I really could have been infected and ended up in a hospital. I didn't even get sick. I got a little bit feverish, got some paracetamol, it was over. I didn't get really sick. It didn't escalate. I didn't get stuck. You know what I mean? Like, it just really could have been worse. And I think it's me thinking it could have been worse and thinking that, girl, you're actually on holiday. Tomorrow the sun is out. You're going to go out to eat somewhere nice. You're going to dress up and look pretty. And it's almost like that didn't happen. And I'm able to like move past those, because a part of me really just leaned into gratitude and said, God, I know I just went through this hell, which it was actually hell, guys. But there's this amazing things that they're going to happen on this trip that I'm not going to let ruin I'm not going to let the storm ruin my whole experience, you know? I feel like I've been preaching, but honestly, I just made this video to say it really could be worse, guys. Sometimes when life really throws us something that shakes us and we didn't plan for, let's just take a step and be like, it really could be worse. It could be worse. There are worse things. There are people dealing with worse things. There are people dealing with worse things, and there's always something to be grateful for in your life. Every time life throws you something, because it's not going to be one time, it's not going to be two times, it's literally the rest of your life that you're going to be fighting for your life. Because honestly, the universe stays throwing us things that we didn't plan for. You have to lean into the part of your life, the other 10,000 things that are great in your life. Anyways, guys, I hope my little story and my near-death experience has somehow helped you guys learn a little lesson, because I learned a lesson there. Because let me tell you, I really did go through a proper storm, and Coco is here.